Yeah, this video is going to be about our a cat tree house build in the house, and we decided that's not the cat, of course. That's Griffin. He chases our cat. But anyway, like a lot of folks, we wanted to get our cat up off the floor because if you have a Griffin like I do, he likes to chase your cat. So these are the basic tools of the trade. I am using this for most of my sanding and shaping, mainly shaping. Clamps, of course, are always needed. We decided, since we live near the ocean, there's lots of driftwood. So this particular build is with driftwood primarily and rope, hemp rope. We found out that hemp rope is a good price and it actually smells good. My Sawzall does just about all of the cutting, and then I'll go back and smooth and shape with that. And then a drill driver, drill bits, and screws. So what we've done, the window's dirty, sorry about that. So far, that's unfinished of course, but it actually goes up and mounts up there, which I'll go inside and show you in a moment. And we're just using beach driftwood. And if you get the driftwood that's been in salt water and allowed it to dry like this and then wash it off with fresh water on the outside, bugs can't tolerate the salt. So salted driftwood is the best. So let me go inside and show you the other part, and then what I need to do, this is going to be a brace for on the wall, and I need to sand a flat spot so that I can put a couple of screws in it, drill through it, put a couple of screws, mount this on the wall. And then this piece, this is another nice piece of driftwood we got the other day. This is a nice long one. I'll show you when it's installed actually. But if you've noticed, I've cleaned a lot of it up where it's concave. And I'm probably going to stop where I did, which is here, and leave the rest of it natural. And up here, this ledge, this piece right here will get squared up across the top, and then it'll get flat. And I'll put a screw through this into this piece here when it's mounted on the wall. So you'll see that when I'm done with it today. Let's go in and let me show you the other part that we've done so far. Okay, this is the part that I showed you from outside. I simply put 4.5 inch, I think, sheetrock screws through the base of that. Eventually it'll have one or two more pieces of driftwood mounted that are going up for supports. And then this was temporary. Come up. And then this is about, not quite 6 feet above the floor. But what I've done is I've put one screw into the wall right there. Now this was sanded with that sander, okay? One screw right into the stud. Then I drilled through, I haven't closed it yet, I'm going to hide this. But this actually screwed into the brace, and it's really solid up against the wall. And then for vertical support is another piece of driftwood. And I left the roots on it because it looks pretty cool. So that's where we're at. The piece that I'm working on is going to attach somewhere here and go in that direction for a place for the cat to lay on. And I'll stop this weekend for that. And then we'll continue on, because eventually I want this to go across the roof, not touching the walls, over the door to where the cat can get on the box I made originally. That's about 2 or 3 years old. So we'll talk to you in a bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is flatten this small piece of wood. I want to make a flat spot, probably right about here, where this will fit right up against the wall. And then I can drill a couple of holes in it close together and put a couple of screws through it. So this you definitely want flat. Whoop. Need some electricity here. Now normally if I'm going to do a lot of sanding I will wear my dust mask, but for this I'm not going to. So here we go. A safer and easier way to do this would be to clamp it, which I will do. I didn't do earlier, but I will. And then that gives you hands free for one thing. Check it for flatness. Okay, and you'll see what I ended up with here. So I'll go in, and what I'm probably going to end up doing is I want to lay it like this. Either way, this is the wall. Lay it on the wall, and then just drill a couple of at least one hole anyway, because this will be a good friction fit right here. No glue, no nothing. I want to be able to remove this if we move out of the house, and then just spackle in where the hole is. So no glues, no heavy bolts, no big holes, nothing like that. You can do this real simple for a cat and still come up with a good product. So I'll show you what this is like once I get it hung up. One thing I will mention is the way this is. You'll notice there's a small hole and a large hole. The small hole is for the screw to fit through. The larger hole is for the head of the screw to go down into. The easiest way to achieve this is simply using two different drill bit sizes. And you want to use a hole that's a little bit bigger than the threads of the screw itself so that it flows freely through your piece of wood. You also want to use one that's a little bit bigger than the head so that the head slides in there nicely. You can cut a plug for this. You can fill it with glue. My intention will probably just to be put a piece of rope over it or something just to hide it. There's all kinds of ways to hide these, or you can just leave the whole plain view. It really doesn't matter. Another way of hiding this, if you really want to hide it, is put some wood glue in there, grab some of the sawdust that you've accumulated all over the ground, and just put the sawdust in here with the glue once you've finished putting it on the wall. So that's another good one as well. It won't match perfect, but I mean, it's for a cat and it'll look good. So those are some ideas. I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, one question I had originally was, how am I going to get the shapes of these to match where the trunks will lay into each other, like this one here. And if you'll notice, I've cut and recut different shapes, and I've been using a pin here. I set it up against where I think I want it to end up, and I mark and I clean out a little bit. Then I'll go back and I'll do it again and again. It's not too hard on pieces like this. So what I'm doing now, I need to remove all of this. I'm not going to remove any of this because this fits real good now. And I'm probably going to have to cut this or trim it with a sander is what I'm doing. I'm not cutting this with a saw. You can if you want. But this sander is just taking a little at a time. This is also a really soft wood. If you're going to be working with oak or something, it's going to just take you a lot longer. They do make a wood rasp for these cut-off tools. I'm using I believe a 60 or an 80 grit. I think it's a 60 grit sandpaper for this one, and it's doing a good job on this soft wood. It's going pretty quick. So let me cut on this one a little bit, and we'll see how this one comes out. let me go inside and see how this fits. Well, I got this attached, and I'll go through how I did it. But this is the view. Sorry about the lighting. It's kind of a bad lighting day here. And my wife has the movie going in the back. So anyway, you have the long piece that I was working on right here. It goes over into the corner, right here. And if you'll notice, this is the board I originally showed you that I was flattening. I drilled the 2 different size holes in it. Then this one literally has a screw that just goes through the top down into this one. So this is nice and flush. This is flush, no glue. Come back this way. There's that terrible lighting again. And this is what I showed you earlier. Right there. But I flattened this. I wanted this to be concave for the cat. And I left it rough. This don't need to be smooth. It don't need to be polished. It needs to have toenail grips. And then to hide the work, to hide the screws and the nuts and bolts or whatever you use, the hemp rope. Just wrap it around. When you're done wrapping it around, what you can do at the very end, whenever you decide to end it, I like to use staples with a brad nailer. I'm not finished with this area yet, so all I did was I just lashed it together temporarily for now, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right here, just to hold it in place. That way I can break it free easy. So that is the second part. Again, that just goes right down to the floor. We have other ideas, maybe up in the corner up there, right at the level of the windows, a box for the cat to sleep in. I'm hoping he will lay here and sun himself during the day. We might have to extend this and make it a little wider, I'm not sure. And then we also plan on continuing from here over to there. So you'll see those projects as well. I'll get this video on YouTube either by the end of today or by the time I finish with the next project. Have a good one.
Now, Jojo is about 3 or 4 years old now. And he's a big cat, as you can see. So a small cat tree definitely don't work for him. But with the rope wrapped around this one, it works pretty good. Can you get him to go the other way, Senegal? There you go. It's mounted to the wall, as you can see on the right and on the left, around the window frame. And it's really sturdy. And he's quite happy with it. And then the part where he's at, I made it flat with a sanding disc. So he can actually lay down on it, and it's a little more comfortable for him.
Yes, my dog is helping. This is another project we're working on. It's the same day, but he come over to work on his. And right now we're just making everything safe. Just rounding all the rough edges off. Nope, I would just start here and just work it down till it looks good. there it is. Not bad. Not bad for a piece of driftwood.